Bulletcast for life.
Get up! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise! Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I seek. We are the elite, and you are the weak.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone messiah, Phillip Brandon, joined by the Canadian destroyer, BT, Brandon Tanguma. BT, what's going on, man? Another Bulletcast episode 410.
Yeah, 410. I don't know what 410 means, but we're 100 away from 510, which is an actual real number.
And we're 10 weeks away from another number.
Well, you know, I don't partake in that illegal substance.
What are you talking about? Vitamins?
Yeah, I'm not a big vitamin guy.
I might try to make something happen for 410. Not 410, but the 410 plus 10. I might try to make something happen for that one. Ladies and gentlemen, the Godfather interview finally dropped. You know, took a while, but it's out. So, what are your teas? What are your thoughts?
Once again, you know, go watch the YouTube video. Just absolutely fantastic cinematography over there. And yeah, you know, it's a long time coming. It's been a while. The interview was definitely in question. It wasn't looking good for a while, but there might have been a peace offering, one might say. Speaking of 410 plus 10, and we got it.
Yes. Thoughts on the contents of the interview? You know, we talk BSK, we talk Papa Shango, we talk Mania in Vegas and the things to do out there. What are your teas?
Yeah, you know, it was a short interview, but you know, he gave some little quick tidbits, as you said. So go listen. Don't want to spoil anything.
Come on now.
Because you know you got to. You can't just listen to this one and expect us to just tell you exactly what happened to the other one. But I will say, even though maybe he wasn't too keen on maybe doing an interview with us when he was like talking to the fans and like interacting with them, definitely one of the more nicer guys. Because you know we've been around here. I've been to some conventions. You can tell some people are just there for a paycheck. The Godfather, you know. He probably is happy he's getting paid for that, but he did seem very, you know, being able to talk with the fans a lot and interact with them, which sometimes is not a given.
Absolutely. Go check it out. Shout out to the Godfather, man. Pimping ain't easy. All right, outside the ring, Big Bill, the former W. Morrissey and Big Cass marries Lexi Nair. Congratulations.
Yeah, shout out. Was Enzo there? I don't think he was.
Real one just wrestled Zilla for the Fourth Rope Championship. So shout out. Fourth Rope is doing some stuff, man. You know, I've been seeing the names they've been pulling out. The star, they got Fredro Starr. If y'all are familiar with Moesha, you know, he was Q on Moesha. So you know they pulling out the stops, you know, for Fourth Rope. And the heels have eyes. I might have to go check that out, man. Come on now. The Into a Dome photos. I finally see what this thing looks like. Didn't realize it was open. But yeah, it looks nice. You know, I've checked the prices for tickets to go to the first Raw on Netflix. I'll be waiting until they come to the Bay Area the week after.
Exactly. I remember, you know, last year went to Full Gear. My hotel was literally right next to the Into a Dome. So if you, I also recommend Sonder. It's like a Airbnb, Uber type where it's like it's not like but it's a hotel. It's very nice. I recommend it if you're over there in Inglewood. And yeah, you know, from the outside, looked legit. And yeah, it's a masterclass of innovation and stuff, and just keeps getting crazier with all these different stadiums.
Love to see it. All right, Ray Phoenix and AEW drama. Let's talk about this. Why are they holding my boy hostage, bro?
Yeah, it's a messy situation. It also seems like it's a complicated situation. You know, we've been talking about the Lucha Bros, you know, leaving WWE. Penta is a free agent. He popped up in AAA this past week or a couple weeks ago. And then Ray Phoenix, who got injured, apparently he's had some time put onto his contract. People say it might be up to a year for how long he's going to still be under contract. He doesn't seem happy about it. He doesn't seem like, you know, AEW handled his injury situation the right way. But
Which
From the
one?
out,
Was it what do
yeah,
you, was it the arm, like the popular one?
I don't know, but on the outside looking in, it seems as though it's like almost a done deal that the Lucha Bros are going to WWE, and they were still in a contract when all this was happening. So then, like, there's a tampering element to this, and if you go back to when Triple H first got, really took the book, we had like the Aleister Blacks and the Miros, and a lot of those WWE guys kind of ran a fuss and like felt like they had a job in WWE and they wanted their release. And then Tony Khan was like, "No, I'm not going to do that." And it's a whole thing. And I think it is
Oh,
interesting that like Tony Khan didn't like pursue any legal actions against WWE for possible tampering, but this is where we are now.
WWE doesn't do that, bro. Just pull a CM Punk and get fired. Just start a fight backstage and get fired.
We have to be
Oh,
backstage to start a fight.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
But yeah, messy situation that definitely is going to leak into 2025.
Yeah, look, I love Ray Phoenix. I mean, people talk about the flippy doos and the flippy shit, but right, he's one of the best at it, man. Like I love watching Ray Phoenix. He's just raw, man. He's raw like Monday night. I'd love to see him on Monday night, raw. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, Dark Side of the Ring is coming back, huh? Well, what are the episodes? What are they looking like?
Well, I don't know if we have actual episodes. We do have a start date. Start date is March 25th,
Will this be like
season
the fifth?
6, I
Okay.
believe, of
Damn,
Dark Side of the Ring. So
I don't think I've watched since like season 3, and I think I only watched like 2 episodes.
I got some on the DVR. I record all of them. I don't watch all of them, but I kind of, some of the ones that I might know a lot about, I will delete, and then some I don't know too much about, I might watch it because I know I got some. Or like the Buff Bagwell one, I was like, yeah, I have no interest of watching a Buff Bagwell Dark Side of the
Buff the
Ring.
Stuff, man. You might learn something about Buff the Stuff.
That he loves his mama.
He was a gigolo, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well,
He did that for a little bit.
him and Booker T ruined Nitro 2.0.
I don't think that was Booker's fault, brother. You can't blame it on King Booker. Come on now, big shucky ducky quack quack. Yeah, Dark Side of the Ring seasons. I mean, what else do they have to cover? Like they've done everything.
Well, that's the point. You think they've done everything, but there's so many little stories and nooks and crannies that you weren't aware of.
All right, we'll see. Tessa Blanchard signs with TNA. She's back.
So yeah, this is a more late breaking news that's kind of happened today, and it's not a done deal because I mean, let's be honest, we talked about the Motor City Machine Guns going to AEW a couple months ago, but it does seem as though that maybe Tessa Blanchard has re-signed with TNA, and then maybe she's going to be like the person to beat Jordan Grace on her way out because her contract's up due and everything kind of points to her going to WWE. Jordan Grace, maybe not the biggest fan of Tessa Blanchard, the women's division in general, the wrestling world in general, not the biggest fan of Tessa Blanchard. So this story did kind of come out of nowhere because, like, Tessa, she's been doing her thing in Mexico. I know she, has her husband down in Mexico. They've been working together. She's a champion.
Daga, yeah.
And just kind of randomly today, it came out that she signed with TNA. And it's like,
Where is this at?
your boy, I think your boy Dave, maybe
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So look, okay. What do I tell you, man? Unless she says it or the company says it. Oh God. Jesus, here we
Hey,
go.
we're just here to react to news. We're not here to report news. We're just here to react to news.
Jesus, here we go. And stop listening to this guy. I don't
I will be honest,
understand.
as we said, I'm a Wade Keller guy. I do not listen to Wrestling Observer Radio. I just see the clips, or not even the clips, the tweets.
Let's not even react to these tweets and posts. Let's not even do that. Jesus.
But if that's the case, I still think Tessa Blanchard, as talented as she was, she's a locker room cancer, and I don't think she is welcome back. I mean, I remember when I was in All In or All Out 21, and they had that women's battle royal that Ruby Soho ended up debuting at. There was a guy chanting Tessa Blanchard, "We want Tessa," the entire crowd was like, no, we don't. And that was 3 years ago, and we're still here in the same spot where people just don't want anything to do with her.
Oh, Tessa. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, who would know how bad she is? Can we ask? I mean,
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's women in this business that can attest to
I don't know why immediately
attest. I get it.
big pun intended. I don't know why I immediately thought Ricochet. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, like I said, when I met her, she was cool, but fake it till you make it, I guess. It's unfortunate. As the talented ones have the problems and whatnot. I mean, look at Sean back in the day. So we'll see what happens with this. If she is signed, I guess congratulations are in order. Yeah. Triple H says that WWE is now bigger than the Attitude Era. Said this on the Roommates podcast. Your thoughts?
I mean, I feel like we do this from time to time, and it's very subjective because WWE will tout how big their gates are and how popular they are, but you're charging out the wazoo. They're much more global than they've ever been. Doing a lot of these pay-per-views overseas when they would only do tours in the 80s and 90s when they were super big. So I feel as though I always go back to like the Attitude Era of and once again, the entertainment world and the world in general is bigger than it's ever been now in this age of the internet, but it's also more smaller than it's ever been because we're so connected and everyone kind of has their own little bubble. But I just feel like the Attitude Era was like the height of wrestling being like in pop culture. And like as much as like Sami Zayn and Jey Uso were at the Big 12 championship game last weekend, like how many people who watched the Big 12 championship game actually knew who those guys were? I would say maybe like 10%, 20%.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
if you
think
trotted out, I don't know, name a random mid Carter from back then. Well, I don't
what the
know.
oddities.
Like, if you
If you threw the
put out,
oddities out there, people would know.
if you threw Triple H out there in like '98, I think like a higher percentage of people might know who Triple H was.
I mean, if you throw them out there today, they'll know.
Maybe it's oh yeah, I remember Triple H. What's he doing now?
Yeah. Look, I look at it like this. I think maybe because I mean, everybody they'll tout the Attitude Era as this great thing. Look, it was a hot time. We get it. Everybody was over. But if you look at, I mean, there were good matches during the Attitude Era, but overall the wrestling, eh. And then I put over the Ruthless Aggression Era more because sure, not everybody was over and massive like that, but the wrestling was far better. And now we're in a day and age where, I mean, like you go to a show. I mean, multiple people are getting hot reactions. I mean, I've been hearing about how Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton are getting hot reactions, and the storylines are making sense. The characters feel compelling, and the wrestling is top notch. So I think that's what Hunter means. Like we are in a point now to where people are over, storylines and stuff are consistent. They make sense. And the wrestling is superb. I think that's what he means.
Yeah, and I'm not going to argue from an on-screen perspective that today's WWE is better than 25, 30 years ago because it probably is from top to bottom. The storylines are much more cohesive. There's more to do. I mean, if you look back at the Attitude Era, like everybody kind of had a storyline. Not all those storylines are great, and like even the Stone Cold and Rock and all the tippy top stuff. Like there was some like I'm not going to sit here and say everything was perfect about the Attitude Era, but nowadays it's much more wrestling driven, which you know
Which is what we want to see.
they some people want to see more wrestling driven. Some people want to see character driven angles. But yeah.
Yeah. We only have one fan mail. Shout out to the Hall of Famer and Brightest Day X.
Mr. X.
I absolutely hate how that they have broken up the New Day and kicked out Big E. I'm excited that they are once again a main focus So I'm interested to see how this goes for Kofi and Woods. Absolutely, man. We will see what's up with that. Let's go on. Let's move on to Friday Night SmackDown. So it happened last week. KO and Cole have a segment in KO's rent a car. Talks about how he's not allowed in the buildings. Talks about how Cole is so biased and how when things got tough, KO never left. Cody did, and now since he come back, it's all about him. Cody this, Cody that, and he's just like he doesn't get how people can still love this guy after he sided with the guy that made KO's life hell for 4 years.
Yeah, I thought the KO segment was like a little more. This was a little more hit and miss than the in ring thing he did with Cody last week or 2 weeks ago. But I still think like there was still some good segment or some like good plot points to it. Like I could have done without Kevin Owens, like being super over the top heel on Minnesota and Michael Cole, and then like the 20 different camera cuts, the camera inside KO's on his dashboard, and then like the two opposing cameras on either side, and all the jumping camera cuts, which is a little much for me. But
Kevin
you know,
Dunn's back.
if you get down to it and kind of listen to what KO was saying in the car with Cole, I thought that was definitely the best part.
Yeah, I mean, KO's not wrong, And I what I did like was like, and trust me, we're gonna get to Sami Zayn, so that's coming, and we have a transfer window now.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, I get it. I don't know if they're
Hey,
kind of going
hey,
off the transfer portal in
what's
college,
the
but
what's the saying? It's time to shake things up again. It's not a superstar shakeup, but it is a transfer window. I guess we saw kind of that with Chad Gable showing up on SmackDown with American Made. Huh,
and I think Dom and Liv were in the background too on SmackDown.
yeah. Hey, look, I'm not opposed to American Made showing. I know. I kind of wanted them to, I don't know, man. I'd like for Gable to stay on Raw and finally get that IC title. I mean, he chased it, and then we just kind of got away from that. Like I'd like to get back to that, man. I would. Yeah, let's talk about Cody versus Gable. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a fine match. The taking the boot off to then hit the ankle lock, like I get it, like maybe from like a wrestling psychology perspective, it's supposed to like make it more devastating, but
Yes.
like if you think about it, kind of makes it harder to like grip the ankle and grip the leg. And what's a boot gonna protect an ankle lock from?
Well, you keep the boot on, so I was going somewhere with that. I forgot. Yeah.
That's because there ain't nowhere to go with it. But it was a fine match. No doubt that Cody wasn't gonna win, and yeah, just kind of time filler, but good time filler, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you take the boot off and you really get down nitty gritty with that ankle, you kind of maneuver it a little bit, dig your nails into the ankle too while you're doing that ankle lock. So, I mean, they're little dirty tactics with it. There it is.
But also, it's easier to grip someone's leg with a boot on than without a boot.
I mean, I got a pretty good. I can grip it pretty well, with or without. You know what I'm saying? You can have a boot on, you can have a boot off. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna get that ankle, and I'm going to turn it, twist it for dear life.
Didn't there's such a submission specialist over here?
Come on now, man. Shooting. I shoot the very best of them. Stop playing with the kid, man. The Bloodline attack Andrade and L.A. Knights, Los Angeles Knights. The Bloodline, solos out there. Swaggy Solo. Shout out Sam Roberts for coining the phrase. Swaggy Solo's out there with Jacob Fatu and Tamatonga. And saying, if you thought the Bloodline was done, y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Dare y'all to step up. Come on now. And then after they left and the lights were off, there's a clip of Jake saying somebody's mother performs an act. Yes.
For Apollo Crews, he was just trying to be a good, humble citizen, go through the security line, and he gets attacked with, when the show starts. So that's just a tough look. Finally, Apollo gets some TV time, and he just gets laid out. But
yep, all that sitting next to Roman 4 years ago paid off to that moment.
Yep, they knew this exact moment was going to happen on this day, 4 years from now, or whatever it was. But I mean, this whole LA Knight Andrade US thing is a little strange. Like, I think the crowd has cooled off on LA Knight, and I think maybe the company has cooled off on LA Knight a little bit because he just kind of came out and then was kind of a conduit for like the bloodline to beat people up, which I don't
This is
think
a
that would have
little
happened like at SummerSlam.
this is a little side story. We're gonna get to something else. Uh, yeah, that's all this is for the bloodline. They'll move on to something else eventually. DIY turn heel and become the tag team champions. They defeat the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, the story of Champa was a good one, and then they just kind of go right into Gargano going ahead with it. Maybe they'll flush it out next or this week and kind of talk about maybe how long Gargano knew that this was a plan. And it was like a swerve for the sake of a swerve,
Bro.
but it kind of like made the wrestlers in on the swerve, so it didn't make it as bad. Just putting my brain in a pretzel right now. But
So does this mean we're gonna get the Blackheart Tommaso Ciampa with the way version of Johnny Gargano as tag team champions?
maybe, I mean, obviously what they were doing as babyfaces weren't working, and I think on balance, Ciampa's better as a heel, Gargano's better as a babyface, but
The Rebel Heart?
Gargano with Ciampa as a heel act, I think can work, especially in this tag division with the Motor
Yeah.
City Machine Guns. I mean, you know, Street Profits, they're much bigger than Gargano and Ciampa.
They were attacked. We had like 3 attacks on WWE television last week.
It's like
Eddie
when
Thorpe got
Vince was in
attacked.
charge, and it's like when Vince was in charge and he just had like one idea and he just did it all the time.
What would one idea to Vince do all the time?
I don't know. I just feel like it comes in waves. Not exactly ideas, but just not like angles like this, but like finishes or like, just like an aspect of the show.
Nobody like the Street Profits were attacked. Eddie Thorpe. Hey, justice for my guy Eddie Thorpe, the former Carl Fredericks. Shout out to our guy. Yeah, man.
Well, if you lay a hand on the all-powerful, knowing Ava, NXT general manager, then consequences are going to come down the line.
You may have to deal with the final boss.
Or Shawn Michaels, or just stock shareholders. Because
Shawn.
if something happens to Ava, the WWE stockholders are gonna have some things to say about you,
Shawn
putting the
Michaels.
company in danger.
Shawn Michaels going to be a Saturday Night's main event, him and Jannetty.
Why
Bro, so I was listening to Cheap Heat. You can't really bring anybody back for Saturday Night's main event for obvious reasons.
not? Well, most of them are no longer with us.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ, like it's really slim pickings. It's what
Well, I mean,
Jesse and Hogan?
Saturday Night's main event hasn't been like useful in like 40 years now. So
Okay, I mean the ones in the '90s were fine.
I mean, but the ones you remember are like from the mid to late 80s.
Yeah. All right, Raw recap. CM Punk has a sit-down interview with Jackie Redmond. How'd you feel about that before we get to the Rollins of it all?
I mean, I think it was solid. Punk being kind of friendly with Jackie at the beginning, but then if you just like listen to what he was saying, like if you just read what he was saying and not like knew that it was CM Punk, what Punk was saying like wasn't exactly like the most babyface-ish of words, but that is the Punk character of him just kind of being full of himself, thinking he's the best in the world, and I think obviously laying the foundation for what was going to come in the Rollins promo.
Rollins comes out there, says, he tried to call Punk when Punk left, never got a call back, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Rollins obsessed. Obsessed with
And
it. Doesn't think about him. That's crazy.
yeah, and that's what I want to know, like what their angle was on both these segments, because Seth comes out there, as you said, cuts the promo, says like, "Look, yeah, I might have been like a dumb 16-year-old, but the crux of my anger comes from when Punk walked out of the company and just ghosted all of us because we were still employed with the company and didn't like walk hand in hand with him."
And talk trash about the company.
Which is like, I don't know how true this is, but like if that is true, that's not a good look on Punk. and Seth is like clearly like in the right in that aspect of
Well,
things.
that's the whole thing with these characters now. Like the whole
But he's going for so much sympathy, and then what happens right after the promo's done? A big CM Punk chant. So obviously the crowd was either doesn't care, not once again put on the board for me. Doesn't care too much about Seth Rollins, the actual character person. They just like CM Punk more because he's the bigger star.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. I mean, but I mean, like I mean, I know this. It kind of goes back to what Punk told Cody. Just when you think you're at the finish line, a much bigger star comes in to take your shine. Rollins finally thinking he's at that level where he's always should have been, and then Punk comes back, takes the spotlight. It's simple. It's simple, man. Then Sami Zayn, he comes out there too.
Yeah, and then Zayn was the seems like a shocker, a good person and a reasonable person. It was like, look, I'm sorry, I thought that it was you that attacked Jay. Obviously, it was Drew,
He got attacked too.
and yeah, so I thought that was fine. And then the Drew McIntyre promo kind of later, I thought was solid. It wasn't anything like groundbreaking, but it kind of laid the foundation, like what he did. He came back and kind of his mission statement of it's very similar to Kevin Owens of like all these people are just now
Yes.
with the
Yes.
bloodline.
That's what I'm saying. KO, Seth, and Drew. It all makes sense. And it's all stemming off of the bloodline. This is, see, have been trying to compare the bloodline to all these other different stories and factions. It's like nothing we've ever seen before because no other faction has ever presented a ripple effect like this to where all these other characters have now these other interesting qualities based off of their interactions with one
Uh,
guy.
I was gonna say NWO had such a ripple effect that it basically crippled WCW.
Okay, well, the Bloodlines had such a ripple effect that the business is booming. So there we go. Different time. Like I said, again, bigger than the Attitude Era, like Hunter said. But yeah, we're gonna move on. New Day promo. They can't even speak. They're getting booed, man.
So I like the beginning, like the lead up to it of like New Day acting like nothing happened, and yet everyone around them is like obviously like not happy with what they did, and Cody, just randomly pops out of Adam Pierce's locker or office and was like, like, I'm ashamed of what you did and all that stuff. And then that in turn makes New Day kind of more standard heels of like going after the crowd, yelling like, "What the hell did we do?" But I felt as though WWE went a little much on the sweetening of the crowd noise and like blaring up the volume. Like you could tell, like there was aspects where like it was kind of quiet, and then it got really loud at like a weird time. And the crowd was giving them heat, and they're chanting Big E. I just feel like WWE doesn't need to do that. Like I think they got a little ahead of themselves when they did it with Dom, and now they feel like they can do it with like other acts. Like, and now they're probably gonna start doing it with New Day. But I one thing I forgot to say, like, is this whole New Day thing like gonna make a Big E return, or is this just getting our hopes up? Because that would make
Hey,
sense.
man, all those people that uh Kofi named that broke their neck came back. Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, a Big E return of WrestleMania, teaming with somebody so he can kind of be a little safe against the New Day would be, not gonna say it's a main event, but it definitely could be like a tent pole on one of the nights of WrestleMania.
Yeah, it could be a nice way to kick off like night two. I see it. I see it. Um. Also, Rhea defeats Raquel.
Yeah, match was a little rough. Rhea gets the win. There's some shenanigans involved. You got EO and Liv on the outside, kind of doing their thing, and get a little bit of star power, get Rhea involved on a Raw, get her a win. It was fine.
All right. AEW Moxley issues a four-way challenge at World's End.
Yeah, very. If you pay attention, this is been what's coming. Mox, Darby, Hangman. No, Mox, Switchblade, Hangman, Orange Cassidy, four-way at World's End. Yeah, I guess it's not exactly the biggest match in the world, but it's what's going to happen. So there you go. We had a couple Continental Classic matches here with Will Ospreay defeating Claudio Castagnoli and Ricochet defeating Brody King.
Ricochet got a win?
I know. But yeah, 2 solid matches. I probably should lock in more on Collision and Rampage because they are having Continental
Rampage
Classic
is still
matches
on?
on there. Yeah, Tony Storm's debut. Spoiler alert is her return is going to be on Rampage against Harley Cameron, who I still believe she is the Chelsea Green of AEW. She maybe not in ring wise as talented as Chelsea Green, but I think her character work is just so great. She's just
Absolutely
wallowing away on Rampage. Then we get Adam Cole defeating Kyle O'Reilly. So
Baby.
we're gonna finally get that Cole MJF match at World's End for that stupid ring. Main event: Mariah May defeats Mina Shirakawa for the AEW Women's Title. Once again, I feel like this whole build is a little rushed because I guess Mina only has a set schedule in the United States. But then Toni Storm returns as her old. I don't know exactly what you call that gimmick, but she's the old Toni Storm. She's back. No, like updated 50s, 60s version of timeless Toni Storm.
What a run, right?
Yeah, I think the Toni Storm timeless character definitely did run its course. I know it definitely did get off to a rocky start. I thought of the matches didn't really mean much, but once she kind of got her groove and did the Mariah May stuff, I thought it was pretty well.
She was in her bag.
It was definitely, going somewhere. She kind of melded the wrestling and the character work well. And then I didn't put this on the script because I don't really care too much, but Phillip does apparently. The Chris Jericho New York Minute. How can you
not talk about the New York Minute with the King of New York, Chris Jericho? The New Weather? Come on, man. With Brian Keith back there, we're gonna get Matt Cardona versus Brian Keith
at the Hammerstein.
This is the stuff I want to talk about. You talk about other stuff. You didn't talk about Christian Cage getting attacked. Come on, bro. I mean, the people I like. Why don't we talk about them?
I don't know why. I don't know why Hook destroyed the glass of the suite when
just to open the door. Right?
I'm pretty sure the suite door was unlocked. You can't lock those as a fan. You have to have a key to do that. But
bro, if he had broken the glass and then unlocked it, reached his hand in, okay. But he just broke it and opened it. I'm like, all right. They kind of what are we doing? What are we doing?
We got a holiday bash episode next week. Then they got the stretch of Christmas and New Year's. I don't know what they're going to do on those Wednesdays, but we shall find out.
Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get into it. Saturday night's main event. It is happening Long Island, New York, this Saturday. Let's get into it. For the World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther defends against Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Does Damian Priest regain the World Heavyweight title, or does Finn Balor, not just for one night, be the best in the world, but have a decent run with the World Heavyweight Championship? Or does the Ring General retain?
I'm going to go with Gunther retaining. I think they could have just done Gunther and Finn, just a rare heel matchup. I don't know if they're maybe trying to turn Gunther babyface, but I don't think it's working that well, and I think you just kind of keep him the way he is. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're going to get a stolen pin finish with Damian Priest looking to possibly have it won against Finn Balor, and then Gunther sweeps in at the last second and either chokes somebody out or hits a pin or something.
We shall see. All right, Sami Zayn, the underdog from the underground, goes up against the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre. I got McIntyre.
Yeah, McIntyre just returned. Sami Zayn can take these losses. Maybe it's some sort of chicanery, but just have Drew win.
Okay. All right, it is for the Women's World Championship. Liv Morgan, you only live once, going up against the Genius of the Sky, Io Sky. I got Liv retaining the Women's World Championship.
Yeah, as much as I would love to see a Rhea versus Io feud, I mean, obviously the heat is with Liv and Rhea. Rhea eventually getting that title back. So, Liv Morgan.
Let's see. And then it is the finals of the Women's United States Championship Tournament. So, let's see. Where are we at? Bailey versus Stratton, and then Meechin versus Green. Stratton has the Money in the Bank, so we could see Meechin versus Green for this. But overall, I think Chelsea Green will win the women's U.S. title. It's in Long Island. Do we get the Long Island IC? Does he make a? Oh, actually, probably not. Absolutely not.
He's a little preoccupied with the different company, 2 different companies, in fact.
I mean, 2 different companies.
Well, 3 if you want to count GCW.
I mean, come on now, a lot. I mean, it'd be a nice little, just little. He can do what his dad did, just the high five in the crowd. Yeah. That's all we got to do.
The internet told me that Chelsea Green wanted to wrestle with him at GCW at the Hammerstein, but WWE said no. I hate to see it. But yeah, I mean, I think Chelsea is kind of like the prototypical person for this. Meechin, no one cares about her, unfortunately.
That's Bayley, crazy work.
Bayley, a little, I don't know if she really needs it. Tiffany's got the Money in the Bank, so I think that kind of devalues that if she were to win the title, and Chelsea's just kind of the perfect.
What do you mean? The Miz was U.S. champion and Mr. Money in the Bank?
Was that the first time he ever won a title in WWE? Was that U.S. title?
No, he had multiple tag titles before that.
Okay, then. That would be the first time Tiffany won a title in WWE.
RVD, Intercontinental Champion, Money in the Bank. I mean,
well then, all right. Phillip saying Tiffany's going to win. Book it.
I think it's going to be Chelsea Green because I think this is perfect for her. Because she's great. I love her. I love Chelsea Green. I loved her when she was Laurel Van Ness. Just good stuff all around. All right, and lastly, for the undisputed WWE Championship, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes goes up against the Canadian Dream, Kevin Owens. For one night only, something is going to be happening. That's what Triple H and Cody Rhodes said. Listen, if it's the Winged Eagle, I have Kevin Owens winning it, and then he pulls a Mr. Perfect and smashes that thing.
Or Stan Hansen. For all you ball knowers out there.
Come on now, wink, wink. But yeah, that's what I think. I have Kevin Owens walking out of Saturday night's main event as the undisputed WWE champion.
I think Cody still retains. As much as I find it interesting if KO would win, but I just think
he can get it back at the Rumble. He can get it back at the. It's like you got a Saturday night's main event on the 25th of January. Maybe they run it back there. KO gets past him, and then a week later, Cody gets it back at the Rumble. Boom. We act like people can't win championships, lose them, and then still get a title back and go back into WrestleMania. Like we act like we can't do this.
I will say they've done a very good job at building this up as like a little mini pay-per-view for NBC.
Saturday's main event is about to be popping. I mean, this is about to be fantastic. Yeah. All right, that is going to do it as we are winding down. Tonight, Big Time Wrestling, Not So Silent Night, Newark Pavilion, Newark, California. Y'all pull up, man. BTW, they got a special one tonight. They really, really do. I mean, looking at this card, you got Fred Ross or Aaron Solo, Powerhouse Ops, Vinny Massaro, Jack Cartwheel, Alan Angels, World's Freshest Tag Team, Lights Camera Faction, Zane J, Marcus Lewis. My sister Beatrice Domino makes a return against Angie Savage, Jerry Gigolo versus Levi Shapiro, and Ray Rico versus Jaya Jewel. Y'all pull up. We will do a recap of sorts for Saturday night's main event. Y'all be safe and stay dangerous. Thank y'all very much. And yes, sir.
Get up. This is a revolution. This is our time to rise. Look deep within your mind. Look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I seek. We are the elite, and you are the weak.
This has been the broadcast. Thank you for listening.